Hey everybody, it's me, Shaw360, and I know I am doing this review really late in the evening. I don't expect anybody to watch this on live stream. I'm just recording it for posterity. So we're reviewing Shine, and it's a book by Jessica Jung. I have finished reading chapters 13 and 14 because I'm doing 2 chapters every other day, a review of. So hopefully I'll be finished with this godforsaken piece of fluff very, very soon. But we had the final development that I think everybody had been looking forward to, had been waiting for. Rachel and Jason are now going out. So, in the very first chapter of the review, chapter 13, Leah, who is the little sister of Rachel, starts it off by saying, "Oh, Uni, it's Bumpy." What is she calling Bumpy? The private jet that they're using to fly to Tokyo to meet with Jason. Because even though Jason said, let's have a self care day, me, you, and your sister, that self care day ended up being taking a private jet to take a flight to Tokyo. Really? Really? You don't think this is a date? So they get to Tokyo, and Jason takes them to Harajuku, and then he takes them to the Kawaii Monster Cafe, and then after that, he was going to take them Mario Karting, but because the little sister ate too much at the Monster Cafe, she threw up all over Rachel, and they decided to just fly back home. After they get back home, actually, on the flight, Jason is talking with Rachel and they're reminiscing about things they missed out on because they decided to pursue a life in K pop. And he kind of is trying to lean towards the I want to be with you, I want to date you. But of course, Rachel is scared because she doesn't know if she's ready to accept that because she's been warned by Kang Jin-ah that this relationship is probably not going to work because Jason, or not because of Jason, but because dating as an idol is dangerous. So she kind of sees him opening the door to this line of questioning, but she doesn't really push it to where he can ask the question. So then the next chapter, chapter 14, Rachel is backstage and she is preparing to do her duet or triplet with Jason and Mina. She's in hair and makeup, and she gets a delivery, and the delivery is a box of donuts that have the words good luck spelled out on them. This is significant because when her and Jason were on the plane, she was telling him about how she loves looking at the hashtag promposal, and that her favorite promposal was when a boy had a box of donuts and he wrote, "Will you go to prom?" on the donuts in like icing. So she knows it's Jason. And of course, everyone backstage is like, "Who sent you those donuts?" Because there's a heart shape on one of the donuts. And Rachel's like, "Oh, I don't know who sent this to me." And of course, people are like, "Heart shape? You don't know? Really?" Akari, who we hadn't heard from in forever, who fucking Rachel hadn't even talked to in forever, shows up backstage like, "I sent them to her." So Rachel's like, "Thanks for helping me out, sis. I've missed you." And then Akari's like, "Cool, cool, cool. Who sent you those donuts?" And Rachel, instead of telling her, is like, I don't know. And then Akari's like, "Cool, well, let's just read the card that came with them." "No, no, I'll take that." And then she reads the card, and the card says, "Meet me backstage." And she's like, "Oh, I gotta go, Akari, bye." And jets backstage. Gets backstage, and Jason is there, and Jason's like, "Listen, I was gonna ask you before, but you kind of seemed like you weren't ready. But I'm just wondering if you're ready now. Do you want to be my girl?" And Rachel is like, "I wasn't ready before, but I'm ready now." And the lights go off because Electric Flower is performing on stage because they're actually, the hair and makeup is for them recording their music video, but the music video is a live recording at the DB family concert stage thing. So the lights go off so Electric Flower could do their performance, and Jason and Rachel share a kiss in the dark. The lights come back on. Mina's like, "Where the fuck have y'all been? It's time for us to perform." And they get on stage and they perform. So that is the synopsis of the action of this particular set of chapters. A couple specifics I really want to get over because they mean a lot to me. We know Akari is from Japan. Apparently Rachel's never been to Japan. She flies to Japan, and she doesn't know she's going to Japan because Jason has hired a private jet and he did not tell them where their self-care was going to take place. She gets to Japan and was about to take a picture to send it to Akari, and Jason's like, "No, no, no phones, just us hanging out." after she got back from Tokyo, why didn't she send Akari a message? And you can't say it's because she didn't have enough time, because later on, we find out that between the time she got back from Tokyo and the time that she's getting dressed, getting her hair done for her performance, she goes on a shopping trip with the twins, the rich twins, and they buy her a red scrunchie as a good luck token or whatever else. But she told them about her trip to Tokyo. So she's had at least some time to try to tell Akari this is what happened. She didn't have to mention Jason, but she could have just been to Tokyo. She hasn't talked to Akari in weeks. Literally weeks. She has not talked to Akari since the last time she saw Akari. And then Akari shows up backstage and saves your ass one more time. And how do you repay Akari? By being like, thanks girl, gotta go, gotta meet my man. Rachel is the worst friend, and I've said that over and over again. She is the worst friend on the planet. So that happens. Another thing, Jessica, you're a terrible writer. You really are the fucking worst. One of my complaints I had initially was that Jessica was extremely descriptive about things that don't matter. And she would talk about, people's nail polish, what the patterns are on their clothes, how they're doing their hair, stuff like that. When really we don't care about their appearance, we care about the action in the scene. The trip to Tokyo was a totally different thing. The trip to Tokyo was an opportunity for her to be as descriptive as possible about like the culture shock that Tokyo is. Like when you see videos of Tokyo, Tokyo looks different than any other city on the planet. And this would have been a perfect time for her to talk about that. She barely glosses over Tokyo. So her main thing was bright billboards and signs. That was her description of Tokyo. High-rise buildings, billboards and signs. Then they go to Harajuku, and she talks about the clothes because that's something that she's focused on. People having green hair, people having long eyelashes, people having ombre hair, tulle skirts, knee-high socks, that kind of thing. But then they go to a real place. Kawaii Monster Cafe is an actual real place. You can look it up here on YouTube, type in Kawaii Monster Cafe, and you can see what the inside of the Kawaii Monster Cafe is. You can see what their food looks like. This place is fucking wild. Like, the video I saw of this place, I was like, I would like to go, because it's like nothing I've ever seen before. When they say kawaii, they really mean it. They have chandeliers hanging from the ceiling that are shaped like baby bottles. They have these booths that are shaped like pieces of kawaii cake, and when you walk into the building you're like in the belly of this monster, and that's why there's pieces of cake and baby bottles, because you're like in the tummy of the monster. So it's all pastels and soft shapes and cuteness, but it's also got kind of a little bit of a emo girl edge to it with the waiters and stuff. She doesn't describe any of that. Instead, she describes the food. I'm going to read the description of the food because she describes food the way somebody who does not enjoy eating describes food. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I'm just going down a checklist of things to prove that I was actually there, but not actually saying whether or not the food was any good. So here's the paragraph. We scroll through the touchscreen menu and order way too much food. Pasta with rainbow-colored noodles, chocolate chicken, sandwiches with multicolored dipping sauces, drinks bursting with edible glitter, and an incredible parfait topped with a slice of colorful cake roll and an upside-down ice cream cone. I glance at Jason, laughing because the two of us order more and more food, convinced that he's going to transform into the Mad Hatter at any moment. Number one, this is a ton of food. So there's 3 people there. There's 2 adults and 1 child, if we're just thinking about body size. They ordered noodles, chicken, sandwiches. Then they ordered glitter drinks, parfait, and upside down ice cream. That's a fair amount of food. Is it enough for Leah to be vomiting? No. It's basically an entree per person and a dessert per person. But apparently this is enough to make Leah sick. But when you were reading that description, did any of that sound like it tasted like anything? Was there anything in that description that's like, rainbow colored noodles with, creamy sauce, or chocolate chicken? Instead of just saying chocolate chicken, rotisserie chocolate chicken and a rotisserie chicken and a chocolate dipping sauce. The sandwiches with multicolored dipping sauce, sandwiches with mystery dipping sauce and rainbow colors, drinks bursting with edible glitter, pastel bubbly drinks bursting with glitter and sparkles. Like this is the time when you can be super descriptive, and she doesn't do that at all. And I just don't understand why she doesn't, because you have the opportunity. Even the way she describes the inside of this cafe, it sounds like it's no big deal. It sounds like it's just any regular old place practically. And I don't understand why she does that. So I'm going to go ahead and read that for just a second, because that was the other thing. When I saw the video of what this place looked like, and then I realized how it was described, I'm like, this is not even the same thing. She leads, okay, welcome to the Kawaii Monster Cafe. She leads us into a room with candy-colored chandeliers and pink and yellow striped walls. All around us are giant plastic macaroons and furry blue and purple lamps. That's it. That's basically like describing an outfit. And it was the one opportunity you had to really get descriptive and really making it count, because part of being really descriptive about a place like this, and this is not just me being nitpicky, this is about setting a tone. This trip is a magical trip. It is a trip that she's taking with the guy who she's having these romantic feelings for. He's taken her to a place she's never been to. She's experiencing a culture that is completely foreign to her. And so this is a magical trip. And a magical trip, you're going to put more description to set the mood for the magic. So it's not just me saying, oh, this was your time to shine. It's also like, you can use the skill you have of being ultra descriptive to also set the mood for this particular trip. And that's the reason why it bothers me that she didn't go that far. There's a comment here that Alondra has saying, I like how Rachel made it look like she was so poor, but now look at her flying to Tokyo on a private plane. This book is a mess. I mean, you know, she didn't pay for it, Jason did, but still. Another thing that bothers the hell out of me, Jason is a K-pop idol. He's been an idol longer than Rachel has, because he was famous when Rachel met him. Everybody knows who he is. And at one point on the plane, Rachel asked, you know, would you take it all back? Would you rather be a regular teen or would you rather be a star? And he's like, no, I'd rather be a star. Why would you pick backstage at a performance where there's company executives, there's stylists, there's the stage crew, there's probably people with cameras, there's all kinds of people backstage at a performance? Why would that be the place where you decide to profess your undying love to somebody and dare to kiss them? I would get it if you decided on the Tokyo trip to do it because no one was looking and it's a prime time to be like, hey, no one's looking, let's have a chance to really talk, let me tell you my feelings. But you wait until not only you are backstage at a huge performance full of all the people who basically hold you and Rachel's careers in your hands, but also immediately before, you're going to do your first live performance of a brand new song. And you know, if you really like Rachel and you've been paying attention, you know that Rachel fucking has stage fright and she doesn't perform well under pressure. Why would you wait until right before y'all get on stage to be like, by the way, I have to lay this heavy feeling on you and I need you to respond right now? That's really gross. That's really gross and uncalled for. Like, that's a terrible position to put somebody in, where you're making a person have to deal with emotions when they're already fighting anxiety. That's really not cool. And so, I mean, hi Grace. So does he hate her secretly? Because this just doesn't feel like the behavior of somebody who is in love with the person that they're speaking to, addressing, whatever the hell's going on with this relationship. And Rachel, of course, because she's batty as shit, she's, again, terrible at lying, terrible at hiding anything. I feel like Jason should know this by now, by seeing her past behavior, and maybe he wouldn't be so blatant about assailing his love. You know, even sending the donuts backstage with the heart on them, if Akari hadn't come back there in the nick of time, nobody would have been able to save Rachel. They would have been like, tell us who these donuts are from. Read the card for us, Rachel. Like, seriously, why would you pick this timing of all timings to do this? And then lastly, I just want to talk about Akari. I talked about Akari and the fact that Rachel has been treating her poorly as a friend. Oh, really, David? That's awesome. You gotta tell me about it. Treating her poorly as a friend, not really reciprocating the friendship, not even really caring about like Akari's day or how Akari feels or how training is going for her. She really has been ghosting Akari. Well, I was talking to Mason the other day, and he kind of spoiled me for the future of the story. And apparently, Rachel never really makes it up to Akari. And it really bothers me that in trying to create a universe around a character who has a whole big speech in her plane trip about how being a Korean American, she feels like she doesn't fit in America. She feels like she doesn't fit in Korea, and she feels like the only people who care about her is like her family. Like, basically, she says like all these people have expectations on me, and there's no one who really understands me. But you've got a friend who is dealing with almost the exact same situation you're dealing with, Rachel. You have Akari, who's away from home, so she's not where she used to be. You have somebody who is struggling with trying to be a trainee, hoping to debut. She's around your same age. She's Japanese, trying to debut in Korea, so she's feeling a lot of the same culture shock, language difficulties, even. Like, you and Akari have so much in common, and you should be really close friends. But the fact that you maintain a close friendship with the two twin heiresses rather than Akari says a lot about who you really are. And what it really says about you is that you're just as fame hungry, appearance driven, and everything else that Mina and any other trainee are. Your quest to be a K-pop trainee has nothing to do with this profound need to perform or any of the bullshit that you might be telling yourself, but it has everything to do with the fact that you want to be famous, you want to be rich, you want to be important, and you want to be seen as part of the A-list. And so I'm just really disappointed that Jessica would even introduce a character that she felt comfortable enough to dispose the way that she's going to end up doing. And it just, and I feel like the B plot with the twins and the one guy that the one twin has a crush on, but he has a crush on the other twin, I feel like that's not going to go anywhere. I'm surprised that Rachel, being friends with these two really rich twins, has not done anything for her in terms of being able to build her profile with DB. Because one of the twins has a YouTube channel with 3 million subscribers. You'd think if you had a friend that has a YouTube channel with 3 million subscribers, when you were trying to go viral for your singing, instead of asking your dance instructor to help you go viral, you would have had your friend tape you singing and then post it on her Instagram or her YouTube, and then that would have been the way it would have gone viral because that person has a built-in audience of 3 million subscribers. So again, this book makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense, and I'm gonna keep reading it because I've obligated myself to doing it. But I really need Jessica to just think rationally about this stuff. Like, if I really wanted to go viral, who would be the first person I would think of to help me go viral? Probably the person I know who has the biggest social media presence. That'd be my first thought. It would not be to ask the person who I don't think has a huge social media presence, or a person who's already kind of half mad at me because I fucked up my audition by vomiting on someone and appearing half drunk. Like, it just, make it make sense, bro. Make it make sense. Anyway, that is my review. I'm sorry that I look a hot mess because I looked really nice in my last video that I posted, but today was hair day, and so I had to wash and print my hair, and this is how I style my hair in order for me to get a good night's rest. But I thank you guys for watching this. I hope that something really good happens in the next couple of chapters, because I just want something to hang my hat on. I just want this to be a productive read, because this is easily a book I could have spent a weekend just running my way through it and not giving a damn. But since you guys are giving me your time, I really hope that something amazing or something valuable happens, that something happens so that you guys will be getting your view times worth out of me reviewing this book. Oh, David, really? You returned it? Damn, if that don't say something. I mean, I would return mine, but I've been like earmarking all of the chapters. I don't know if you could see. I've been earmarking all the chapters as I go through. So probably what I'm gonna do is when this is all over, I'm gonna probably give this copy away. Thank you, David. I try to make it interesting. But yeah, I hoped that at the very minimum, when Jessica was getting ready to release this book, she would have hired a really quality ghostwriter, and that just doesn't seem to be the case. And also, it's just surprising that she wouldn't have a really decent ghostwriter when there are so many people who would have been willing to do this work for her. SNSD has a ton of fan fiction writers, and there's some really great fan fiction on AO3 and AsianFanfics.com if you want to read some of that really awesome SNSD fan fiction. And I'm not saying that she necessarily had to pick somebody who wrote something gross about her, but there's some really talented people that kind of cut their teeth on doing fan fiction first and then they start publishing their own books. And I feel like if Jessica had put the call out to say, I'm looking for someone to assist me in writing my first book, any of those people would have jumped at the chance to be able to collaborate with her, and they would have given her something that was a lot better paced, a lot better written, somebody who could have been with her throughout the process, giving her the kind of feedback it takes to put together something that satisfies the fan and the errant book reader who might just come across this in a store somewhere and decide to read it. And the fact that she didn't, it almost makes me wonder how she feels about her fans, because there's a lot of fans who would have helped her make something a way better than this. Way better than this. But anyway, it's been 20 minutes, and before I go, I do want to say for Jessica, I thought about you a lot yesterday. I did. I thought about Jessica a lot yesterday. I know she's not watching this, but I thought about her a lot yesterday because they announced aespa, the new girl group for SM. They were announced yesterday, and I thought about how tough of a time SNSD had as a whole, how netizens treated them, how the general public treated them, how it took them a while to kind of get on with the public and really make their way. And Jessica, I just want to say, I have criticisms about your book, and I have criticisms about my expectations about what your book should have been, and I know I've been really harsh about this book, but that in no way means that I don't have respect for you as an idol. And there are things I'll never understand about your life as an idol. There's things I'll never know about that you couldn't include in this book because it'd be too easily identifiable, or it may put you in a position that would have been terrible for you. But I do want to say, I don't lack respect for you for what you did. I may not respect your writing, and I may feel like after reading this, some of it is your fault that you didn't end up re-signing with SM, but I'll never have a lack of respect for what you went through debuting under SM and becoming a member of what became a very legendary group. That is something that can never be taken away from you. And I do think it is very brave of you to continue to want to remain in entertainment when there's so many obstacles in your way. When, SM has such a large hold on broadcast stations and everyone else who could give you a chance in Korea, they kind of can strangle the market and keep you out of it. So I have a lot of respect for you that you keep going. I just wish that maybe you can invite some other people into your circle who can help you make some smarter moves. Because this book thing, you should have had a better ghostwriter. You really, really should have. There's still a future in books if you hire a better ghostwriter. Absolutely. I think that there are a lot of other things that you definitely could be much more successful at. I think if you still have any friends from the Chinese trainees that end up becoming former members of EXO, maybe you can get one of them to hire you on a consultant basis for their entertainment companies, because a couple of them have started entertainment companies, and maybe that would be a way for you to kind of sit in your niche. You could do a little career counseling, whatnot. But I really respect you continuing to fight the good fight, but I just want you to know you can't keep half-assing this stuff, because a lot of the bloom from being an SNSD member doesn't exist as much anymore when they're not on the tip of everybody's tongue anymore. I still respect you, absolutely, but we're debuting a new girl group. Red Velvet's been around for a while. Blackpink, Twice. There's tons of girl groups that have come onto the scene since you left SM. So the name SNSD, while it does have a certain amount of currency and will until the end of time, you can't live off that currency anymore. You have to start finding your super strength, and you've got to start working hard in the arena of your super strength. Don't pull a Rachel and only work on the weekends. You got to work full time on this thing, girl, because you deserve to have a happy ending, whatever that happy ending may be. And half-assing it is not going to get you there any faster. So thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.